Hi everyone! Welcome back to Reverend Insanity audiobook, where I talk excessively about Gu Zen Ren, more commonly known as Reverend Insanity or Master of Gu. I know it has been a long time since my last post, so I'm gonna go big this time with today's video. We are going to talk about the entire recorded history of the Gu world prior to the beginning of Reverend Insanity. For those who don't know what this is, Reverend Insanity is a Chinese web novel series about the quest for immortality of Gu Yufang Yuan, a ruthless, manipulative and extremely cunning time traveler. In my opinion, it is the best xianxia novel of all time, featuring one of the most interesting world-building techniques and character development. The Gu world has its own folklore about the creation of mankind that is deeply connected to the human experience, which I will talk about that some other time. If you want to see that video next, please let me know in the comment. Today we are talking only about the recorded history of the Gu world. As I have just mentioned, there is an entire set of legends surrounding the life of Ren Zhu, the human ancestor, and his 10 children. While many things mentioned in the legends of Ren Zhu are indeed historically accurate, like how the Gu world used to have 9 heavens instead of 2 like it is now, the legends of Ren Zhu contain too many hidden messages and life lessons, so you kinda have to take it in with a grain of salt. So before we dive into anything deeper, this is a spoiler alert. This video will discuss a lot of things that happen in the later chapters of Reverend Insanity. You have been warned. Stories of the 10 Venerables is a series of events that occurred repeatedly throughout the 3 million years of human history in the Gu world. Through the lives of the 10 most powerful beings in the universe, we could see how all beings in the Gu world are bound by determinism, with no ways to escape their fate, from the day they were born, to the day their souls get crushed into pieces under the Danghun mountain in the door of life and death. That is why all things die. Venerable is a title given to individuals who have achieved rank 9 on their Gu Master's cultivation journey. Throughout history, there had been only 10 people capable of doing this. They are the most talented, and surely the most powerful and influential of humanity. With the exception of the first and second Venerable, all the other Venerables were separated by 10 of thousands to 100 of thousands of years. None of them had ever lived to meet one another. Almost every single Venerable had founded a path, a new field of knowledge that enabled Gu Masters to take advantage of a different kind of resource. The rise of a Venerable had always been the peak of a human civilization era. In fact, the rise of a Venerable is such an important event that it triggers response from not only the realm of humans, but also from the world itself. Once a future Venerable has been identified, the walls that surround each of the 5 regions of Gu world will disappear. And without them, high-rank Gu Immortals will be able to walk through regional borders without experiencing any pushback. Extreme forces can now be deployed against previously unreachable enemies living across borders. After millennia of segregation, everyone will be exposed to their neighbors again. A bloody war has always been unavoidable. Just like everyone else in the Gu world, Venerables too are controlled by fate. During the war between 5 regions, the future Venerable will grow until they are strong enough to trigger the rank 9 tribulation. Only after the future Venerable have survived the rank 9 tribulation will they truly become a Venerable. From that moment on, the universe will cease to produce lifespan Gu, forcing the ruling Venerable to live on borrowed time, as their lifespan Gu stockpile can no longer be replenished. The longest living Venerable lived up to 25,000 years old, while the shortest living one only lived up to 3,000. Since the start of Venerables, mankind had experienced 3 million years as the ruling species of the world, forcing all other variant human races into hiding. Long gone were the days when humans were the beast men's slaves. Which is why I think it is best to describe this time period as the golden age of humanity. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment. It is important to point out that the age of Venerables has not stopped, but has been accelerating leading up to present days. While it took 2 million years going from the second Venerable to the third, the last 5 Venerables had all come into existence within the last 300,000 years. 5 Venerables were titled Immortal Venerable, to signify their affiliation with the righteous path. The other 5 were titled Demon Venerable, to signify their affiliation with the demonic path. These do not speak for the Venerables' personal morality, but rather their position in society as groups or individuals. The righteous path are societal regimes, with mortal populations living under their protection. While the demonic path are independent individuals, not bound to anyone but themselves. This doesn't speak for whether they are good or evil.
Before the remote Antiquity era, shame and suffering were the only words capable of describing the human's existence. The beastmen were enjoying themselves as the fated rulers of the world. And all that mankind was nothing more than kept livestock that can be used, sold, and butchered at their owner's whims. Until one day, Heaven's will changed its mind, and now it was the humans' time to be the rulers of the universe. Remember, young fellow travelers, people outside, humans, are nothing like ones living here in Dragon Well Paradise. Out there, they carry with them all of the pain and suffering from the past, and let anger control their decisions. They will not reason with you, not after knowing what you are. Don't ever let them know you are Mushroom Man, or you will be in big trouble.
The remote Antiquity era began 3 million years ago when a human slave successfully stole fake goo from the Beastmen temple. With fake goo now on his side, the young boy managed to escape and later became one of the most powerful goo immortals the world had ever seen. He was the first one to ever become rank 9. It was a level never achieved before. With unprecedented power, Primordial origin Immortal Venerable defeated the Beastmen and banished them from Central Continent. As Venerable, his first decree was to abolish the clan system from Central Continent, to embrace the Sect system and create the Heavenly Court, to oversee the process. The Sect system is a social model unique to Central Continent. In the other 4 regions, kins stay with kins, and bloods stay with bloods in the form of a clan tribe. This system is still being used in the Northern Plains, Eastern Sea, Western Desert, and Southern Border to this day. No one had ever heard of the Sect system until it was introduced. Primordial origin Immortal Venerable proposed that Goo Masters and Goo Immortals should all take on the responsibility of protecting the populace, and open schools to teach the willings and capables of the arts of Goo, instead of only doing it for their own kin. As bloodline and namesakes are the core of every clan, they make the clan system extremely vulnerable to favoritism, nepotism, and discrimination. For example, in the Northern Plains, the use of human slaves is completely accepted in human society. Women are often married off by their own families in exchange for benefits. Many were forced to stay in horrible situations against their will. The Sect system is made specifically to address these problems. Under the Sect system, people would be affiliated to one another not by namesakes or bloodline beyond their control, but by their choice to participate in a cause greater than themselves. And just like how the clan system is based on love, the Sect system is based on gratitude. Like one that a student would have for their teacher. This system promotes diversity. Talents can now come from anywhere, because people are looking in the right places. The Sect system is also the backbone for Central Continent's meritocratic society. According to Primordial origin Immortal Venerables decree, all Goo Immortals here are banned from starting a clan, but are welcome to create their own sect. Despite not being the region with the most resources, or the one with lots of hot-tempered personalities, Central Continent had always been the most powerful among the 5 regions. This is because their Sect system had ushered in a society with much increased social mobility. Human slavery was abolished, and women were free to advance themselves and participate in the scholastic arts of Goo. Fearing the Beastmen's return, Primordial origin Immortal Venerable founded the Heavenly Court to ensure humanity protection after his death. Heavenly Court holds the power to command all of the sects in Central Continent. Through it, all of Central Continent is unified under one collective government. As the first selfless act for the cause, Primordial origin Immortal Venerable gave up his own immortal aperture to serve as the organization's public heaven grotto. This act became the tradition for all Heavenly Court's initiates. Their apertures would be removed to be added to the public heaven grotto. The initiate, now member, would be given a phantom aperture so they could store their Goo bugs and immortal essence. To give you an idea how immense this act is, we got to talk a little bit about the power system of Reverend Insanity. From rank 6 and beyond, the aperture is no longer just an energy generator and battery anymore. It is now a pocket-sized world that you can use to mine for minerals, grow crops, or ranch animals. For rank 8, it is not even rare to see goo immortals keeping their entire clan inside their aperture world. In fact, there was a mass migration into the Black Heaven and White Heaven when rank 8 goo immortals would just pack up their entire clan, and run into the skies and find an untouched plot of land to settle down. The aperture is the basis of a goo immortal ability to own and make money, which is why giving them up is considered one of the most selfless acts you can do as a goo immortal. Heavenly Court will go down in history as the most powerful organization of all time, with 3 of their members being Venerables. They even managed to survive through 3 demon Venerables attacks without having a Venerable of their own during those times. As the top student of Primordial origin Immortal Venerable, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable had surely done a lot to fill the old man's shoes. As the creator of Wisdom Path, the type of goo magic that specialized in processing information, she understood clearly that humanity would always be vulnerable. As long as fate goo could change its mind, the beast men's position today would be humanity's tomorrow. If that happened, then all hope could be lost. To ensure the future of humanity, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable merged her mind with Heaven's will, the consciousness of the universe, the world AI. From then on, both parties would be changed forever. The mind of the world would become capable of forethoughts and manipulations, but it did also become entrenched in a human-centric path. Mankind would always remain the fated rulers of Goo World, no matter what price would have to be paid to balance off that fact. With their second reigning king behind the mind of destiny, Heavenly Court decided to position itself on the same side with Heaven's will. Using Fate Goo as the core, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable built the Heaven Overseeing Tower, a rank 9 Goo house capable of surveilling the entire 5 regions and 2 heavens. Tinkering with the mind of the world was not an easy feat. In order to keep her mind from being diluted into nothingness by Heaven's will, members of Heavenly Court would have to put in their own thoughts to strengthen her. They would then enter hibernation in the Immortal Graveyard to preserve their remaining lifespan. Because of the Immortal Graveyard, we cannot even begin to imagine how many people Heavenly Court actually has. Especially after 3 million years worth of history as the leading region of Goo World. Whenever they need anyone with a special skill, they can just wake one up. This gives Heavenly Court a very wide range of response capabilities, from espionage to recruitment to sabotage. During time when there is no Venerable to rule over Heavenly Court, a Wisdom Path Goo Immortal will be appointed to lead the organization. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable predicted that in the future, after she died, there would be 3 demon Venerables to attack Heavenly Court, so she must prepare them well.
People of Heavenly Court often revere how their sect survived the attacks from 3 demon Venerables as a sign of their superiority. What they failed to understand is that Venerables are no mere ordinary people. Their powers can only be matched by their own. It was she who stopped the demon Venerables. The rest of Heavenly Court was just the scared little chicken hiding behind her skirt.
"2 million years later, fate turned once again. As it is its nature to destroy surplus and replenish scarcity. The new Venerable came from the northern plains, the land of barbarism. Limitless Demon Venerable was a true Tao seeker at heart. He once stormed the gates of Heavenly Court looking for their research on Fate Goo and Heaven's will. If it was not for Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's will showing up to make a deal with him, Heavenly Court could have been wiped out. They got into an agreement. Limitless Demon Venerable would leave his will behind to play a chess game against her will. His winnings would be paid in foundations of Heaven Path. Later in his life, Limitless Demon Venerable built the Crazed Demon Cave, a lab where he tested the most fundamental particle of this world, the Tao Marks. It was said that the cave ran deep with many secrets. No one knew exactly how Limitless Demon Venerable met his final moments, just that one day he came in, and never came out. He was the second Venerable to come from the northern plains. Reckless savage demon Venerable invented a way to get the transformation path Dao marks themselves to change into Dao marks of other paths, thus allowing him to exert his power fully while still able to utilize the unique abilities of the thing he was transforming into. It was from his transformation into an ice path beast that had made the northern plains the cold hard place that it is today. Like his predecessor, Reckless Savage Demon Venerable also tried to storm Heavenly Court. It was unclear what arrangement he got with Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's will, but he left his cape behind before he walked away. Reckless Savage Demon Venerable's most famous catchphrase was, "Men must be cool." He even openly admitted that he chose to be a Demon Venerable just because it sounded cooler than Immortal Venerable. The coming of the fifth Venerable was a tale foretold. When the child Hongting was born, the power of destiny was so great it formed a giant lotus that lit up the night sky. The three dukes of Heavenly Court were all there to bear witness. Believing that the child was the future Immortal Venerable to lead Heavenly Court into the new era, Duke Long came down to the family and asked to take the boy in as his disciple. Hongting grew up and often found himself questioning if fate even existed. His mentor, Duke Long, on the other hand, believed in heaven's will. He often told Hongting to have faith and let things take their course, even telling him to pursue time path magic to train for that level of stoicism. Sadly, the day Hongting realized that fate truly existed was the day his wife died. Being one of the 10 extreme physiques, Liu Shuxian was the only person who could take on the rank 9 tribulation last hit. Hongting wanted to go back in time to save her, but Duke Long advised him not to do it, as it was fated that she died protecting him. He couldn't accept it. He was venerable now. Surely there must be something he could do. Hongting refined the spring-autumn cicada to carry his mind back into the past. He must try to save her. He failed hard, and had to see her dying all over again. From the outside, the life of Red Lotus Demon Venerable was only a mere 3,000 years, significantly shorter than the other Venerables. But who knows how long he had spent going back and forth in the river of time. Hongting kept on trying, until one day, he finally made it. The tribulation had stopped before he could get to rank 9. He had failed to become a Venerable, but his wife lived.
Hongting! No! What have you done? How could you do this?
Liu Shuxian was angry. But what's more was that she was heartbroken. She didn't want to be saved. Her entire life, she had been preparing for the day she got to die for him, the future Venerable. Her special physique allowed her to be able to take on a very powerful tribulation that occurred during rank 9 ascension. A task that would otherwise cost a lot of lives if not done by her. A worthy price to pay, or so she thought. But now, it was all gone. Her husband had refused his duty to become Venerable, to lead Heavenly Court into the new era, so now her whole life was meaningless. How could he be so selfish? So full of himself that he was willing to let all the lives lost to protect him be in vain? He was no longer the man she married. History eventually returned to its original course where Liu Shuxian died again, this time by Hongting's own hands. This last act pushed him forever into the demonic path. His feelings of agony surrounded his heart and formed the rank 8 Gu, regret. After that, Red Lotus Demon Venerable went on, determined to destroy Fate Gu. With the help of Love Gu, Red Lotus Demon Venerable managed to injure Fate Gu, making it lose grip on some aspects of reality. Divergences from the one fated course became possible, and they can build on top of one another, slowly accumulating for one more great battle against fate itself. At the same time, deep in the river of time, 10 stone lotus islands quietly waited to be found. If you have made it this far, please like and subscribe to my channel. This is the only way to get the algorithm to notice me. It will give me motivation to make more videos like this in the future.
The world has changed. The world always changes, but not like this. Death used to be absolute. And now we have soul beasts roaming in the land of the living, people turning themselves into zombies to escape death. It is an insult to fate. It is an abomination.
The fourth Venerable to be born in Central Continent and the third to rule over Heavenly Court. Not much is known about what Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable did prior to the beginning of Reverend Insanity. Beside the fact that he created Wood Path and founded Heavenly Lotus Sect, which is one of the 10 Central Continent's ancient sects that are still standing today. It was after the Fate War that it was revealed that Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable had also created Painting Path. A path that dealt with the most uniquely behaving Tao marks. However, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's true contribution to humanity was far greater than that. With his Painting Path, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable created the biggest human path inheritance the world had ever seen, with goo recipes and killer moves covering all purposes like offense, defense, healing, detection, storage and cultivation. This was even larger and more methodical than the Legends of Renzu, which was a very formidable human path inheritance in of itself. All variant human races have a type of Tao marks that they are native to and will experience much advantage when cultivating in that path. For the Ing men, it is Information Path. For the Hairy men, it is Refinement Path. For the Snow folks, it is Ice Path. With Human Path now a fully realized system, humans too can experience the advantage of cultivating their own native Tao marks. After Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable was gone, Heavenly Lotus Sect was visited by a thief who snuck in and stole the Heavenly Primeval treasured Monarch Lotus. The culprit was later known as Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, the creator of Theft Path. His name was Ben Jiasun, a consciousness from outside of the goo world. One day, his mind was pulled from his body in his home world, then shoved into a body in this godforsaken place. He had transmigrated. This phenomenon, while rare, was not unheard of in the goo world. Every once in a while, they found somebody whose mind had been taken over, even came up with a name to call it, otherworldly demons. A supreme grandmaster in Space Path and Theft Path himself. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable could go anywhere and walk among anyone, or anything. He had been to the other side of the door of life and death and took back with him the Luo Po Valley and Danghun Mountain unscathed. A task that even Renzu the human ancestor could not have done as gracefully. All his life, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable tried to find a way back to his homeworld, back to his family. He even collaborated with Longhair Ancestor, a Grandmaster of Refinement Path and leader of the Hairy Men, to create Space Escape Goo. The goo was refined successfully, but it didn't work. It was as if its ability was blocked by the universe itself. After his encounter with Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, every once in a while, Longhair Ancestor would try to refine the Heavenly Primeval treasured Monarch Lotus, which it kept failing until one day he succeeded, suggesting that the one that Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had with him was no longer alive. The living proof that just because you are on the righteous path in Reverend Insanity, does not mean you are a good guy, by any standards. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was originally a demonic path goo immortal in the Northern Plains. He later converted to the righteous path after his rise to power, then married hundreds of thousands of concubines, builded a harem in every region of goo world, and sired countless children. Being venerables, his children were later known as the Golden Families, royalties of the Northern Plains. They are the backbone of today's Northern Plains righteous path. This brings us to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's first evil scheme. He was the creator of Luck Path. After Red Lotus Demon Venerable wounded Fate Goo, the way of the world was no longer always definitive. There was now room for variations, for luck, to occur. By manipulating many small variations in the greater working of fate, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable could trick destiny itself into giving him blessings, when it should be giving him calamities. With this ability, he created the once every 10-year blizzards that covered the entire Northern Plains. That was why every 10 years, the Golden families gathered other clans under their flags, to battle it out with one another for a chance of refuge inside the Imperial Blessed Land. Whichever Golden family got the best results would be allowed to access Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's inheritance, strengthening their positions further every decade. Heavenly Court once asked Giant Sun Immortal Venerable to join them as the fourth ruling king, but he refused, claiming his luck path was in direct contradiction with Fate Gu, which Heavenly Court served. He did, however, agree to become an honorary elder of Spirit Affinity House, one of the 10 ancient sects of Central Continent, a subsidiary of Heavenly Court. It is unclear what is his motive with Spirit Affinity House, their women, or their love Gu. Knowing him, it could be both. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's aperture was left behind for Longevity Heaven, an organization dedicated to preserving the power of his bloodline throughout history, manned by his most trusted advisors and closest living descendants. At the same time, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable turned himself into a zombie to avoid dying. After Red Lotus Demon Venerable damaged Fate Gu, death, while still inevitable, was no longer a one-stop shop. Zombieism was a new way for one to live beyond their means, an option only available after Fate Gu had been damaged. To this day, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's zombie body is still alive, in the Lux Suppression Palace situated in the Black Heaven.
There shall be 3 more great eras. 2 men and 1 woman. The first one, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, will paint the world red with blood. The second one, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, will heal the world. And the third one, Great Dream Immortal Venerable, will be the most powerful of all. She is the one who will solve your space escape Gu problem.
Mingyu was born on Mount Xianxia of the southern border 10,000 years before present day. He was a compulsive serial killer with an unquenchable bloodthirst. Twisted by the events of his own clan chief, who was also his grandfather, orchestrating the death of his parents, the young prodigy came to the conclusion that life was only about kill or be killed, so he murdered his entire clan. Mingyu was a master in food path, something that humans learned from the beast men. However, after his encounter with a soul beast, a creature made of soul path Dao marks whose existence was only possible because of Red Lotus Demon Venerable injuring Fate Gu, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable created soul path. He later got his hands on the Luo Po Valley and Danghun Mountain, which together with his soul path, had allowed Spectral Soul Demon Venerable to kill and grow from it. So he killed his way to rank 9. As expected, the world stopped producing lifespan Gu the same way it did for every other Venerables before him. And Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, mighty as he was, died of old age. However, after he died and had gone to the door of life and death, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable used his killer move, Soul Devouring, to eat up all of the new souls coming in, absorbing their knowledge in the process, silently looking for his way back to the living world. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable is, without a doubt, my favorite character in Reverend Insanity. A true pacifist, he didn't even have an offensive move anymore. As the owner of the Immortal Gu regret, he could make people feel the guilt of their actions and make them surrender without a fight. He spent most of his life building shelter worlds for people, humans and variant humans alike, to live in peace, protected from the calamities of this world. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was once a young man named Lotus. He was raised to be a warrior for the La clan against the nearby Mushroom Men village. Lotus had killed many of them on the battlefield, earning him the title, Green Beast. However, an unexpected reunion with his long-lost mother had let the young warrior in on a secret. He was half Mushroom Men. Him, the Green Beast, was a half-breed. Later on, his father and the rest of the clan caught his mother and drove her insane with their invasive interrogation technique. Lotus discovered the news and went to rescue his mother, only to show up too late. He wanted revenge, but his mother, in her last waking moments, told him that all she ever wanted was for him to be happy, and that vengeance would not ease the anger in his heart. Lotus spared the men and moved on with his life. After Soul Path was created, many people had chosen to take it on themselves. And human lives quickly became commodities for demonic path goo masters. It was Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable who started the ban on the sale of souls on the Treasure Yellow Heaven, the most free and independent remote exchange platform of the goo world. Also available in the two heavens. Understanding full well the misery of hatred, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable tried all his life to mend the cracks between mankind and the variant humans. He could not work with Heavenly Court, not after they had committed genocide of the entire race of dragon men, but remained cordial with them. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable traveled across the 5 regions and set up many paradise lands, isolated safe havens where humans and variant humans could live together in peace, protected from calamities and tribulations of the world. One of the most famous of such places is the Dragon Whale Paradise. The war between mankind had started long before the story in Reverend Insanity began. Starting from the day star constellation Immortal Venerable mind melded with Heaven's will, forcing it to favor humans forever. In Red Lotus Demon Venerable, we see the agony of individuals with free will living in a deterministic universe. In Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, we see how an entire region got manipulated into serving the grace of one dead man. In all of the Venerables, we see how far human ingenuity can reach and how one must be daring enough to pursue their dreams. The world of Reverend Insanity is a world of oppression, from men, from nature, even from destiny. We see how Heavenly Court, an organization dedicated to advancing mankind, got corrupted by their own convictions. And how they had placed themselves into a weird parasitic relationship with Heaven's will, when they sort of forcing it against its will, while they do its bidding. For example, in present days, the Heaven Overseeing Tower is mainly used by Heavenly Court to search and destroy fate escapists, people and creatures who had gone outside of their fated path, including but not limited to soul beasts, luck path, zombies staying alive longer than they were fated to, and otherworldly demons. Many were possible only because of Red Lotus Demon Venerable enduring fate goo. One of Longhair Ancestor's closest friends, Wisdom Path Goo Immortal Yi Yang, the one-line prophet, and founder of the Ingmen City, had accurately predicted the coming of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. However, his prophecy also predicted that the next coming Venerable is going to be a woman, with the title Great Dream Immortal Venerable. As the top lieutenant of Heavenly Court, Duke Long was heir to Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable. Enforcer of Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's Heaven's Will. Mentor of Red Lotus Demon Venerable. He had served under Genesis Lotus, and will go on to become mentor to the future Great Dream Immortal Venerable, Feng Jin Huang. But Duke Long had a deep dark secret. He was the one who wiped out the Dragon Men. And what's worse was that they were his own children. The Dragon Men were not a variant human race, they were humans, only modified. They were capable of being more united under hierarchies than humans, while still maintaining their individualisms. More importantly, they lived longer, much longer. In fact, the Dragon Men physique itself was originally created by Duke Long as a way to lengthen the natural human lifespan. The only people with the Dragon Men body upgrade were Duke Long and his children. Tragedy fell upon the young new race when their creator saw in Heaven's Will a vision of the future. A future where Dragon Men ruled the goo world. And like a good servant of humanity, Duke Long sacrificed even his own children, grandchildren, and many more generations of Dragon Men with a flip of a switch, triggering a killer move already embedded in the very DNA of every single Dragon Men. My next video will be about Duke Long and the story of Wu Shui. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more Reverend Insanity content in the future. Thank you for watching.